using medical instruments and equipment. Take the history of patients, order and execute various tests, analysis, and diagnostic images to provide information on patients' conditions. To apply, email Maggie McClooney at belong@soundphysicians.com. No phone calls.
If you or someone you care about is struggling with domestic abuse, there's a place you can turn to for help. The Domestic Violence Project, Inc. provides life-saving help to victims of partner abuse. Calling the Domestic Violence Hotline opens the door to services, including legal and medical advocacy, transitional care, or safe and secure shelter for you and your family if you need to flee from abuse. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you or someone you care about is in need, call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 330-453-7233.
Thank you and your team for being constant companions and friends.
You have gotten me through many, many years.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday edition of Spotlight this morning. And for those of you listening on the radio, thank you so very much. And if you are interested, you can watch our live video stream, our WHBC video stream, live on Facebook right now. Just go to our Facebook page at 1480 WHBC and like us, and you can watch live and also on our YouTube channel. And if you don't have a chance to listen to the whole thing, you can check it out there a little bit later on today. Well, as you heard, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we thought this would be a great opportunity to highlight what the Domestic Violence Project here in Stark County is all about. We have three guests with us today to do just that. First, we have Paula Mastroianni, is the CEO of the Domestic Violence Project. Hi, Paula.
Good morning, Pam.
We also have Ashley Huprich, who is Development and Community Relations Director. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
And also Julie Donant, who is the Domestic Violence Project's Board President. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Pam.
So, ladies, I think this is a great opportunity because we were kind of talking a little bit before we came on. There are some folks out there who hear the name and say, oh, okay, but maybe don't necessarily know exactly what you guys do. Let's talk a little bit about how the Domestic Violence Project came about.
Well, I'll go ahead and kick us off and then hand off to the others. We started in 1978 with three very courageous women that we call the Founding Mothers. They saw a gap in our community for women struggling with domestic violence situations and took it upon themselves to just start saving them. They did very courageous things that we would probably never try today, like go to an abuser's house and pull the woman out of the situation. They gave shelter to these people, and they ultimately became the implementers of our first domestic violence shelter, which has been in a few different locations locally since the building that we're in today. But they started it, and now we've grown into about a $1.7 million organization, having three programs. We have the traditional shelter that you know of. We can house about 48 beds here in Canton, and then we also have a Massillon location that has roughly 16 beds. We also have something called transitional care victim services. So after somebody leaves the shelter, we stand them up and help them get back to some normalcy and move ahead in their lives through that program. We can also service people in that program that don't necessarily come through shelter, Pam. So if you are struggling with domestic violence and just want to find resources and so forth, you can take advantage of our transitional care program, our victims' rights program. And the last thing that we do is provide legal advocacy, which is by far our largest program that people take advantage of. We had just under 800 people last year, even during COVID, that we helped through helping them through the legal system, sitting with them during their court hearings. Of course, COVID has impacted that, but we give them advice and a hand up. So we're pretty proud of what we've built here. And I know the Founding Mothers, two of which are still alive, are proud of what we've done.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty amazing. How many folks would you say that you have served, say in 2020? Let's take a look at numbers from last year. How many women have you served then?
Ashley, you want to go ahead? I'll let you jump in.
Absolutely. So you just asked how many women. It's very important to know that we also serve men as well. So just going through some of the numbers, last fiscal year, so it was July 1st to June 30th, we had 731 crisis calls to our 24-hour hotline. Our shelter served 138 adults, 109 children for a total of 10,057 nights. Our victim services program served 267 clients, and medical advocacy also helped or assisted 74 people. And it's important to know that those numbers are actually low because of COVID. The hospitals were closed, so the medical advocacy program is low. Legal advocacy served 865 clients, and our transitional housing coordinator served 48 adults and children.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And like you say, it is a lower number probably than normal because of COVID and this situations. And how did COVID affect you guys? I mean, what kinds of things did you have to deal with because of COVID?
Sure. So we received about the same amount of calls to our hotline, but there were more first-time callers, and the severity of the abuse was larger. So a lot of first-time callers. Sorry, I know I interrupted somebody. Sorry.
And I would say, I mean, I've heard this, and so, but you guys, you're the experts. You would know. I've heard that COVID was probably a big problem causer because people were stuck at home and they couldn't go out, couldn't go to different places, and maybe that forced them to be at home more with their abuser, or in a tougher situation. Is that what you guys were seeing?
Yeah, and I can kind of step in and answer that question. I mean, as a shelter, we remained open all through COVID. So our shelter never closed, our services never closed. They looked a little different. A lot of the times we couldn't necessarily do in person, but we were meeting with a whole bunch of in other various different ways that were safe for everyone. And it did look a little different. Sometimes when you're in a home with the abuser, you can't call or you can't seek help. And so that's also brought up new conversations for us of how, so if a person can't reach out to us by a phone call, what other ways can they get in contact with us? And so we're actually working on that behind the scenes to maybe implement some new things through this process, just so we can make sure that we're providing people whatever access they have, they can seek help to us.
And Julie, maybe you want to share how you got involved with Domestic Violence Project as we bring you into this conversation a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So I'm the board president of Domestic Violence Project, and I am a survivor, and also actually utilized some of domestic violence services back several years ago. And so that's how I got connected, and they stepped in such a crucial time when I needed someone the most that really understood what was happening and believed me. And so they were there, helped me get through. And I said, when I get past all of this, I want to get involved. And so that's what I did. And now I'm the board president. So that's, you start asking questions and that's what happens. And, but I'm really had the honor to serve. We have a great board, great staff, and we do a lot of really great things in the community. And domestic violence is not an easy subject to talk about. And so, bringing light to it, especially during October and Domestic Violence Awareness Month, is really important.
Yeah, I think it probably makes people nervous. I mean, do you guys find that that's the case when you're trying to get your message out there, that, even people who, don't have someone that may be suffering or is in a situation like that, they don't know how to talk or react? Is that what you discovered?
I love this question. Tomorrow I will celebrate 1 year here as the CEO of DVPI, and I have been amazed let me say quickly that I've been involved with this organization from a funding standpoint and prior jobs that I've had and personally involved and donated. And you kind of understand, certainly in general, what domestic violence organization does. But till you see how the sausage is made, if you will, it's just an amazing organization. To answer your question, Pam, though, I am shocked at how many people self-disclosed to me in the last year. Them, their mothers, their sisters going through something. I get calls and emails regularly, personally, from people that are struggling with the situation. Just recently, I actually had a friend reach out whose brother is in a situation that is very difficult, and was able to help him on a couple of different fronts. But as Ashley said, it's very important to understand that men can be victims as well. Sometimes that comes from men being taught you don't strike a woman. So even a real big burly man can be abused by his wife. There are 7 different kinds of domestic violence, which I'll let Ashley talk about in a little bit here, but it doesn't always have to be physical. So it's important to know that we do accept and are open to everybody. The other fact that I'd love to talk about a little bit as we go along here is we are one of 3 shelters in Ohio that actually lets animals come into the rooms with our clients. Other shelters have like a bullpen for animals to leave the home, but we feel part of the healing process is having your animal with you. Plus, sometimes the animal is abused as well, and particularly if the person flees, the abuse is taken out even more so on the pet. So we have, of course, dogs and cats. We've had lizards. We've had hedgehogs. We've had all kinds of things. And our services are totally free. So there are times we've had to go out and buy frozen mice for snakes. But everything that we do is free here. We offer clothing. We certainly offer meals to everybody. They can cook in our kitchen. They can eat in their rooms, or they can eat in the dining hall. So it's a wonderful place to be when you're.
All right. Before we go to a commercial break, give us a phone number for somebody's listening right now and they really want to get in touch with you. Give us that information.
Ashley?
It's 330-453-7233 or 330-453-SAFE.
All right. Very good. When we come back, we'll talk about all those different kinds of abuse, because I think that is very important for folks to know about as well. And we'll get into some other things also. Again, our special Monday edition of Spotlight, Domestic Violence Project. Stay tuned.
Thank you and your team for being constant companions and friends.
You have gotten me through many, many years.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Football and cash. Now through October 29th on 1480 WHBC. A total of $20,000. It's the Kickoff Cash Contest. $1,000 a day. Listen for the word, then enter it at WHBC.com for your chance to win. And don't forget the extra points. That's the bonus entry in case you wonder. It's Kickoff Cash. Come on, let's see your touchdown dance. Move those legs.
Add beauty and value to your home with new flooring from Hartville Hardware. The experts are ready to help you choose the perfect flooring for your home. Browse the wide selection of luxury carpet brands and explore all that Shaw Anso Nylon and Tuftex have to offer. Softness, color, style, durability. Mohawk Smart Strand Forever Clean offers the highest level of beauty, comfort, and performance with all pet protection. Trust the Hartville Hardware experts for flooring solutions, free basic carpet installation, and savings of up to 20% off. Hartville Hardware.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course keeps changing right before your eyes. Whoa! And in order to maneuver it, you need an expert by your side. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the tech solutions you need to help you get out in front and stay ahead of the game. Whew. For advice on solutions like XPS 13 laptops powered by Intel Evo platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Here's a fact. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer. Also a fact. Vaccines are highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths. even from the Delta variant. If you've got questions about COVID vaccines, talk to a doctor because our kids are irreplaceable. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Running a small business means just that, always running.
Woo, you're not kidding.
Which is why this holiday, while the other guys, not mentioning any names, are kicking it back, we'll be kicking it into gear by leaving our doors open for you. So whatever the ing you need this holiday, whether it's packing, shipping, or mailboxing, we'll be right here waiting.
Now that's an ing worth celebrating.
The UPS Store, every ing for small business, all in one place.
The UPS Store.
The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
This Movember, here's to mustaches in all their glory. To the first peach fuzz ones, the lopsided ones, the unexpectedly sexy ones. To the black, brown, and red ones. To the stately salt and pepper ones. To the ones grown by the men we love. The ones grown for the men we love. Those with us today and those never forgotten. A mustache in Movember is a powerful thing. It helps raise funds and awareness for men's mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. So rally a crew, friends, family, co-workers, and take on Movember together. And there are plenty of ways to get involved in Movember, even if you can't grow a mustache. Help us change the face of men's health. Go to Movember.com and let's get this hairy party started. That's Movember with an M as in mustache.com. Movember is a registered 501c3 organization.
Did you know there are actually several forms of domestic abuse? Physical battering comes to mind first, but there are other ways to be victimized. Emotional and verbal, sexual, financial, psychological, social, harassment and stalking, and even spiritual. If you are experiencing one or more of these, help awaits you. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you or someone you care about is in need, call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 330-453-7233. There is hope. There is help.
Thank you and your team for being constant companions and friends.
You have gotten me through many, many years.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on today, Domestic Violence Project. It is our Spotlight on Monday edition. And if you want to watch us on Facebook, you can do that right now also on our YouTube channel. And we've been talking with, first of all, from a Domestic Violence Project, the CEO, Paula Mastroianni, and also Domestic Violence Project's board president, Julie Donant, and also Development and Community Relations Director, Ashley Huprich. So let's talk a little bit more about the types of domestic violence, because I think that's also, some people, may not even realize what is happening to them when they're in that moment. And that can be a tough situation for them to try and figure out. So let's maybe bring that up so we can get them to recognize that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is so heartbreaking when you're out in the community and you have someone disclose to you, some of the things their partner may be saying to them. And you try to say, well, we have resources available for you. And they respond with, well, they've never put their hands on me. Most people think of physical abuse as the only way, but there's other forms of domestic violence. So of course, physical and then sexual. There's also mental and emotional abuse, verbal, financial, digital, and then there's also spiritual. Spiritual is one that we're starting to talk about a little bit more, but if you attend our Take Back the Night event on October 19th, our keynote speaker is going to talk a lot about spiritual abuse and how that has affected her.
Yeah, the Take Back the Night event, that's meant for folks. That's going to be at Centennial Plaza, correct?
Yes. Starts at 6:00 at Centennial Plaza. And Jasmine Bailey, who's a Fox 8 News correspondent, she will be our keynote speaker. And we have some other fun things lined up.
Yeah, and that's an annual event that you guys do. And it's actually, I think, they do that around the nation, right? The Take Back the Night event.
Yeah, it is an international event. However, we've kind of taken it and we formed a collaboration with community partners. So we typically do, we focus on like the healing aspect of it. And we typically have done like singing and dancing, things like that. This year we're switching it up a little bit to kind of get back to the roots of what the Take Back the Night is, because Take Back the Night historically has been a speaker with a walk at the end. So we're kind of going back to that for this year.
And go ahead.
It's interesting to see if you take a look at the graphic that's on the screen right now. You'll see our partners, some of our major partners. We have a lot of people and organizations that come together with us, but we've got a little bit of a non-traditional relationship this year with the Stark Library. They have done a lot to help us promote the event, but even more so, they're going to have books available at the event to tell people about domestic violence, some books that were written about domestic violence from first-person perspective. And we're really excited because we will have Jasmine Bailey there, as Ashley had talked about. Jasmine is the newest Fox 8 anchor. She came up from Orlando and has written a book about her situation with domestic violence, which, as Ashley said, some of it was spiritual, where they hold the teachings of the Bible against the victim. And that was part of her abuse. But she'll be having copies there. I think it's called The Woman with the Oil, and she'll be signing them there, as well as speaking about her situation and how she left and fled. So we're really excited to have her.
One thing that I hope people recognize from this also is the fact that if you don't have to be somebody that believes that they are being abused, you can be a person who knows someone. If you think you know someone who might be a victim, attend one of these events or call these guys and find out how you can help, because that's another thing. People don't know how to help someone. They're afraid, or always get, oh, I don't need any help, or that kind of thing. So help them too, correct?
Yeah, and I'll kind of touch on that, Pam, that it's one of those things where, looking from an outsider's perspective it's really easy to judge and say, well, why don't you just leave? Just leave and be done with the situation. But it's oftentimes a lot harder than that. So I think as a person who maybe has a family member or a friend or a coworker in your life, it's one of those things that just lend an ear, listen, ask how you can help, provide support. When that person, unfortunately, when that person is ready, that's when they leave. And sometimes that's in a really scary part where the abuse may be getting really bad. And so it's hard and it's scary. And so having that support of someone just to say, I believe you, I'm listening, I'm here for you. We can go talk together to someone, or, I have a place for you to stay, or, those types of things. Or, and a lot of our services, even if you're not ready to leave yet, or you have a person in your life that's not ready to leave yet, we can help you at Domestic Violence Project Inc. Even just safety plan. We can make sure that you go through all this. So when you are ready to leave, you have a list of things that you want to take, or what documents should you bring, or things like that. So sometimes it takes a while for a person to actually make that life-changing decision. So there's a lot of things that maybe we can help support that person around before they actually make that decision. So sometimes you just need to leave.
We're going to take a quick break for the news and get some of our other business done. And when we come back, we're going to get more into that, because that plan, the safety plan, I think is extremely important to talk about. And we will do that more. Domestic Violence Project, that is our spotlight today. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we want to talk more about that here on 1480 WHBC.
Radio it's just one of those things we all grew up with, and we go to it to get informed on weather and other events.
Powered by 1480 WHBC.
Kept me informed for all of the local stuff. You know, if I needed to know what was going on, so it let me know what was going on in the local community.
The weather may not cause a school delay or cancellation, but during these uncertain times, things can change in an instant. The WHBC Alert Center at WHBC.com.
Here in Ohio, we're proud of our cities, our teams, our businesses, and our communities. And we are especially proud to build and sell Hondas, where over 14,000 Ohioans work hard every day to build some of the safest, most affordable cars in the industry. With over 20 million units produced here in Ohio, show your pride and upgrade to a new Honda, KBB's best value brand. View offers at northernohioHondaDealers.com or visit your local Honda dealer today. Honda, Ohio built.
Hello, everyone. It's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Call me today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Here's a fact. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer. Also a fact. Vaccines are highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, even from the Delta variant. If you've got questions about COVID vaccines, talk to a doctor because our kids are irreplaceable. We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Verndale Water Experts have all the water treatment products you need. Save 15% on any water treatment product and take advantage of 0% financing. For quality products at a great price, call Verndale Water Experts today.
Verndale's Water Center. Tap into
WHBC AM Kim, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, it is Columbus Day today. No mail delivery and your banks are probably closed, but best to check before you head out. Today is also Indigenous Peoples Day. The holiday celebrates the indigenous peoples of North America and is celebrated in various locations in the U.S. as a counter-celebration to Columbus Day. Dayton police say they're investigating officers who dragged a disabled driver from his car during a drug-related traffic stop last month. The man does not have use of his legs and says he felt helpless when he was dragged from the car to the ground and handcuffed. The police union is defending the officers, saying they followed the law and their training. Southwest Airlines had to cancel over 1,000 flights over the weekend. The airline said problems came up with weather problems in Florida and traffic control. Well, it looks like William Shatner will have to wait to boldly go into space with Blue Origin, the spaceflight company owned by Jeff Bezos, announcing that Shatner's trip into space would have to be put off until October 13th. The company said the delay was due to predicted high winds at its launch site in Texas. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it appears the U.S. is turning the corner when it comes to COVID-19. Speaking on CNN's State of the Union, the chief White House medical advisor said while we don't want to celebrate too early, he believes the numbers will continue to improve. He added that outdoor Halloween activities should be safe, but he strongly recommends people get vaccinated. Fauci said cases still need to drop dramatically before states can drop mask mandates and other protective measures. More news coming up at 10 o'clock. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Near record-breaking temperatures for the rest of the day. Periods of clouds and sunshine this afternoon with a high of 82. Then patchy clouds tonight, low 64. Tomorrow we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine with a shower in places and a high of 79. Mostly sunny and warm on Wednesday with a high of 78, approaching the record set in 1969. I'm Holly Holdren for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Kick off catchwords during Canton's Morning News, live and local with Jordan Miller and the Kenny and JT Show.
The Ohio Star Theater Dutch Valley in Sugar Creek presents 3 special nights of concerts. Kicks off October 21st with The Boxer, a tribute band of your favorite duos, including Simon and Garfunkel. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Friday, October 22nd, it's Southern Cross, a full tribute band playing all the classic Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young hits. And rounding out this musical weekend, it's Alter Eagles, paying tribute to one of the #1 selling bands of all time in North America, the Eagles.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Take it easy.
Tickets and reservations are needed and are going fast. 3 nights of classic music at the Star Theater in Sugar Creek. For tickets and information, go to ohiostartheater.com. That's ohiostartheater.com.
Mounds and mounds of fur. Our hairballs have hairballs. Our cat Mama, she's 10 years old. She has dandruff and an oily coat. I have 2 cats, Zippy and Daisy. Daisy sheds like crazy. If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives. DINOVITE.com. I just tried this wonderful Catalicious Dynavite for cats, and my cat has been on it for 2 weeks. She is not scratching anymore. She's not chewing anymore. It is just the best. I was thrilled when I heard Dynavite for cats was coming out because I'd seen the changes in my dog. To introduce my cats to Dynavite, I took the advice from Dynavite and put their food on top of just a scoop in the bowl, just to get them used to it, because I know if I even switch one little thing, they put their nose up to it. There was not one problem.
Dynavite for life.
You won't believe how happy your cat will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Domestic violence is on the rise. The person could be your coworker, your neighbor, your friend, a family member, or even yourself. It doesn't distinguish between age, gender, race, or social status. Everyone is fair game. The Domestic Violence Project, Inc. is here to help turn victims into survivors. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you or someone you care about is in need, call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 330-453-7233. There is hope. There is help.
Thank you and your team for being constant companions and friends.
You have gotten me through many, many years.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back, everyone. I'm Pam Cook, and again, it is our special Monday edition of Spotlight. And of course, as we said, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we are spotlighting today Domestic Violence Project, Inc. And, you know, when we talk about Domestic Violence Project here in Stark County, I would imagine that most folks go, oh, yeah, I've heard that before. Maybe some aren't sure exactly what Domestic Violence Project does. And that's the point today, is to get the word out and to let folks know that there is a service here, and a very important one at that. And with me today from the Domestic Violence Project, we have the CEO, Paula Mastroianni. We also have the board president, Julie Donant, and also Development and Community Relations Director, Ashley Huprich, with me. So let's talk now a little bit about that safety plan. We were talking before the break about people coming forward, men and women both, coming forward and getting some help. And, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, but there is, as Julie, as you were saying, there is a plan in place. There are ways to go about it. And so you guys have the 5 ways, the 5 parts of a safety plan, so to speak. So how does all that work? What are people, what can they do? How should they go about this, I guess?
Yeah, and I can have Ashley kind of touch on all of that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So just having a plan in place to get to safety, obviously safety plan. So if you ever need assistance making one of those, you can call our hotline or ask for our outreach and aftercare advocate. She would gladly help make a safety plan for you. So put all of your important documents in a place that are easy to grab. Pack a bag or at least know what you're planning on taking. What are you going to do next? So, let people know where you're going or take a different route to work. Things like just try to keep yourself safe, and just make a plan so you're in a safe spot. So your abuser, you can get away from your abuser.
And Julie, I wanted to go back to something you said before the break about, people, because people say it all the time. Why don't you just leave? I think that's the biggest thing that people say. Again, reiterate why that's not so simple.
Yeah, it's just not simple to all of a sudden leave the home that you're living in currently, or if you have children, all of a sudden that becomes a question. I have to take them do I take them with me, and then where will they, do they have to switch schools, or how do I keep normalcy, or where do I stay, where do I live, how many, how about the clothes, and I think that's so important about the services that we provide, that sometimes it's not, you can create a safety plan, you're ready to leave, abuse happens, and it's no longer safe for you to go back. So when that happens, we do provide a shelter and a safe place for you to stay, but maybe you get to stay with family members, but we can provide you clothes. Maybe you just left with the clothes on your back, or maybe you can get a new apartment, but you don't have any dishes to put in your apartment, or, all of those different things that we think about, that how we create a home and a safe place for us. When you're all of a sudden uplifted from that, and if you were told today, that you weren't allowed to go back home because it was no longer safe for you to be, how would you feel? And I think that's when we talk about that question, then the question of why didn't you just leave becomes irrelevant. It no longer is a question, because it's a lot harder than that.
Yeah, I mean, and finances and fear and all of those kinds of things just play a big role.
Right.
Sometimes this is going to sound really weird, I think, but sometimes people say it's easier to just stay there and deal with accepting or whatever, until it's not,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
So
we're creatures of habit, and so it's what and you're not thinking right anyway. So can you imagine being in a violent situation and then having to think through all of the pieces that need to come together for you to leave? What do you do with the kids? What about money? I don't have finances. I don't have a place to stay. So it's difficult to put all those pieces together with somebody who's thinking in a normal way. But when you're suffering abuse, that's just a huge layer on top of it all. So people that flee their situation are just so courageous and should be applauded. The national statistic is it takes 7 times for somebody to leave for good.
Wow.
I was shocked at that number.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's really a lot. Yeah. What about family members? Because, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, even neighbors maybe, are sitting there, they're thinking something's not quite right, or, what kinds of things, first of all, should they look out for? And then secondly, what kinds of things can they do? Like, what steps should they take if they really are fearful for that person?
Yeah, I can, one of the things that I think is maybe a big sign for family members or coworkers is, we all think of maybe the physical things, right? So, bruises and things like that, but maybe even the fact that they're just being isolated, or all of a sudden they don't want to go out, or you don't see them around as often, or they're not all of a sudden coming to family functions. Those types of things are huge signs that maybe the isolation piece that is a big part of abuse. So I think that's one of those signs that maybe people don't think about. Ashley or Paula, you want to chime in on anything else?
No, absolutely. Just be a supporter. You can't tell somebody that's going experiencing domestic violence you need to leave. Just listen to them and be supportive, because when they're ready, they're going to leave.
That's actually the worst thing you can do, is be what's considered judgmental. I would never stay in that kind of a situation. How can you put up with that? And I'll refer back to the different kinds as well. When somebody's talking to you and saying that they're emotionally abused or suffering emotional challenges, they may not even realize that it's abuse, or that they're being isolated, that, you know, my spouse won't let me go out with the girls this weekend, and they start pulling away. Just as Ashley said, just let them know that you're there. Don't say, I know you're being abused, or I think you're being abused. Just say, hey, if you want to ever talk, I'm there. And I had a girlfriend that was concerned about a colleague, and we have little cards that have information on it. And she took a couple of those and she just quietly slipped it in the person's desk. She doesn't know whether that person reached out, but it's there. You know, it's at their desk away from their abuser. And if they ever are ready to make that move, that information is at hand.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. All right, we're going to take our final commercial break here. And when we come back, we will talk more about the Domestic Violence Project right here in Starr County on our Spotlight today, this Monday morning on 1480 WHBC.
Thank you and your team for being constant companions and friends.
You have gotten me through many, many years.
News Talk 1480 WHBC.
What's next? Keep listening to find out, because the news never stops.
Get the facts.
And neither do we.
1480 WHBC and WHBC.com.
I'm so glad I found this radio station.
Canton's Morning News, live and local with Jordan Miller and the Kenny and JT Show.
I like that it's local.
Local issues and community information. This is the right place. News Talk 1480 WHBC. This is the right place.
Are you looking for a new career? Kimball is holding a career fair at their Dover facility on State Route 39 on October 14th from 4 to 8. Kimball is actively hiring CDL drivers, mechanics, and customer service representatives. Speak with their recruiting team and supervisors about Kimball's excellent benefits package, competitive wages, and careers that have you home every night. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the team that's making a difference in our future and communities. To see all the available careers and apply today, visit KimballCompanies.com. Kimball. Recycling and disposal done right.
At Packley, they pride themselves on serving families in Massillon and the surrounding areas with dignity, respect, and compassion. The families they serve are their top priority and have set measures in place to help protect and accommodate the elderly, sick, and members of the public, and will make every effort to accommodate families in making arrangements, conducting services in any capacity needed to ensure their safety and comfort while honoring their loved one. Packley, serving the community with grace and compassion.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big when you call 8338-ROCKET today. For example, with a $250,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you could get a new low rate under 3%. If your current rate is over 3.75%, you could lower your payment by over $100 a month, saving thousands in interest. But you've got to act now, because no one knows how long these low rates will last. So when you need a simple way to get big savings, Rocket can. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Refinance offer assumes a rate of 2.99%, 3.21% APR, 70% loan to value ratio for the cost of 1.75 points. $4,375 due at closing. Monthly payment of $1,052.66. Taxes and insurance not included. Payment will be greater. Rates current as of 7/26/21. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org. Number
Domestic violence is on the rise. The person could be your coworker, your neighbor, your friend, a family member, or even yourself. It doesn't distinguish between age, gender, race, or social status. Everyone is fair game. The Domestic Violence Project, Inc. is here to help turn victims into survivors. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you or someone you care about is in need, call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 330-453-7233. There is hope. There is help.
Download the iHeart, Odyssey, or Radio.com app. Be sure to check out our website daily for the latest at WHBC.com.
And again, welcome back to Spotlight on this Monday morning. And we have been talking about domestic violence project here in Stark County. Again, if you want to watch the live video stream or go back and take a look at it later on today or tomorrow, whenever you have a chance, you can always go to our Facebook page and look at the video section. Just go to our Facebook page and like it at 1480 WHBC, and also our YouTube channel as well. We would love for you to do that. And again, as I said, we're talking about the Domestic Violence Project. We have Julie Donant, who is the board president. We also have Paula Mastroianni, who is the CEO, and Ashley Huprich, who is Development and Community Relations Director. And before I didn't want to forget to mention that I had a young lady by the name of Sharon Rivera on my show a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to say it was. And I just saw that she had won some, a contest with Verizon, and she won $20,000, and she takes half and gives half to the charity of her choice. And she gave it to you guys. Yeah. And I wanted to bring her on and talk to her, not knowing her story. And she was very timid and came on and then just shared her story, which the interview with her is on our website if anybody wants to take a listen. But one of the things that caught me was the fact that she said, I'm a victim, and I had no idea really what Domestic Violence Project did until I went there and saw it all and talked to them. And she said, and now it's just an amazing organization. So I think that's a great thing. People have to really, really understand what you guys do.
I'm amazed at how many people don't know that we exist.
Yeah.
And so they don't know, of course, where to refer to us. And as you might imagine, our marketing budget is extremely meager. So that's why we appreciate these kind of opportunities to get the word out. Because if somebody hears just one thing, they know that there is a place to turn to get help in Stark County. Sharon was really interesting. And if Ashley wants to chime in, I think she told you that she got the call that said, hey, you've won, and give us your social security number, kind of a thing, and she's
She's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, but it really did come true. And we've become fairly close to Verizon through her kindness as well, which is awesome. Ashley?
Great.
Yeah, so Verizon, it's TCC Gives, which then has Verizon. But so all she did was she opted into text messaging, and she called and said, hey, I won this. And I'm like, okay, because, that's not something that just happens to everybody. You hear about it. So I remember going down to Paula's office, and I'm like, I think it's real. I did a little bit of research. I think it's real. And it was real. So we're so thankful. And TCC Gives does so much for the community and domestic violence. They do a program called More Than a Phone, where they are going to give each of our shelters, because they mainly help just the shelters, but since they're helping all of us since we're a whole agency, but they give us phones to give to our survivors, because oftentimes, phones are being tracked, or phones are the first thing to be taken away because they're being isolated. So we're going to be able to help out survivors through that.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that side of it. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, Pam, can I jump in and just let people know what to expect if they call us here?
Yes. Yes.
So if you call the hotline, and we get various and sundry calls, just people wanting information all the way up to people needing to flee. So there is a form that we go through asking questions and helping that person disclose what's going on. Because as you might imagine, oftentimes their mind is a little jumbled. So we walk them through the process. If it is a really violent situation and there is a possibility of some lethal situation happening, we do a lethality assessment, which is a heightened level of the questionnaire. If we find out that that indeed is the case, we will do everything in our power to get them out of that situation right now. Alas and unfortunately, our shelter is always full. So we work with other community organizations. We will place in other shelters. We actually take people from other states if they're needing to get even out of the state. It's really an interesting and complex network that we put together. If you are in need, though, immediately, and death may occur, we have slept people on our couches before to get them out. So we will do anything within our power to make sure that person is safe. That is number one, first and foremost. So if you just even have questions, though, call our hotline. We're happy to help answer questions for you, for a friend, all the way up to getting you out of your situation.
All right, and let's one more time give us the information on the Take Back the Night event that's coming up on October 19th.
So it is 6 o'clock on October 19th at Centennial Plaza. Keynote speaker is Jasmine Bailey. And we've worked really hard with some community partners to bring this event annually. So we hope everyone can come and join us. And we have some other fun things planned for that evening.
Do you have to get a ticket or anything like that?
Oh, nope. It is a free community event. Since it is at Centennial Plaza, you're more than welcome to bring a chair to sit. Otherwise, we are going to have a couple chairs available. But there's going to be community resources, the table set up, just to bring awareness of what domestic violence and sexual assault is.
And we'll end up with a survivors walk around the block at down here in downtown Canton. So we'd love to have everybody come hear Jasmine, network with other community organizations, and just drive awareness.
All right, finally, website, phone number, information for folks who are looking for that.
So our website is dvpi.org. Our 24-hour hotline is 330-453-SAFE or 330-453-7233.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Pam, for having us. We really appreciate you doing this.
What's next? Keep listening to find out, because the news never stops.
Get the facts.
And neither do we.
1480 WHBC and WHBC.com.
This is the right place. News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Hi, I'm Jordan Miller from Live and Local, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon, right here.
This is the right place.
Want to help local charities and have a chance to win a 2021 Mercedes-Benz 350 GLE SUV at the same time? Visit ahepa59.org to purchase your raffle ticket today. Only 1,500 tickets will be sold by the Canton chapter of the Order of AHEPA. So log on to purchase today. You can also call 330-454-9249 to purchase your ticket over the phone. Drawing is October 21st, 2021. So don't miss your chance. Go to ahepa59.org to purchase your ticket today.
This is Mike Frazier, Senior Pastor at Canton Baptist Temple. I would like to personally invite you to worship with us at 10:15 this